We had a couple of big sequences where the kids are put in great peril by a frozen waterfall that starts to melt. A lot of things go into making that scene. So this is our 12th scale miniature of the whole waterfall environment. Basically what it does is it takes what was shot on set and built on our stages in Auckland and dramatically increases its scale for the cinema. Since this waterfall really is the scale we want it to be for the movie, we couldn't build that in the sound stages in New Zealand because they just weren't big enough. Our set itself only went about, a third up in height.
We built, I suppose, about 5 or 6 meters of it. We built the floor, with sheets of foam covered in fiberglass and wax and paint.
Oh God, this is so cool!
And the special effects department put each segment of ice on hydraulic rams, I suppose you'd call them, whatever.
Hi, I'm Paul Stevenson from Special Effects. We've got 12 rocking icebergs here of various sizes and shape, and they are basically working off a pneumatic ram which is working similar to a hydraulic system.
And they're really slippery at the moment. So we have to wear special shoes.
Georgie, could you put on your non-sliding shoes, William?
Oh, rubbish.
So as you can see, there's a mountain of plumbing and hosing which will spout out air and water as the icebergs crack up. It's going to be an interesting set when we see the final result.
Final touches?
Right now we're doing the frozen river scene, which is a bit complicated because the reset time could be like up to an hour and a half for them to reset the snow.
Okay, let's get ready to go here, please.
So this is why shooting schedule gets a little bit behind, because there's a lot of elements to each scene.
Here we go. Rehearsal. Stay off the ridge here. There's also enough room that your foot can go through. So I want you to avoid these ridges.
So hard.
It's really technical because there's loads of little cracks where we could easily step through them, and so it's really hard.
Okay, here we go again. Rehearsal, please.
We have special effects.
Okay, so
the ice
falls. Everyone runs.
And then we have children.
Wolves behind.
Wolves in front.
Trying to talk to animals that aren't there.
All right, picture will be up.
It's going to be a really tiring day.
Ready and action. The beaver's right in front of you. Don't step on them.
Don't step on the ice.
Step back a little bit from where you are.
We brought in boom poles, really long ones, and put little extendable wires on it with little stuffed animals to give the kids eye lines. And Andrew, many times he and Alina, his assistant,
They come down. They pin Mr. Beaver down.
we actually sit and play the roles right on camera.
Stop, Peter! Maybe we should listen to him!
Well, she's obviously the smart one.
In order to get a genuine reaction out of the kids.
Let's do clean plates and then repair, okay? Clean plates are up.
And we just had to make sure we shot versions of those same shots without them in there, so we could cut and paste, the setting behind them back into the shot, and then put the beavers on top of that.
I got wax coming out of my ears.
And even though you'll see in the original footage that all those ice plates stayed as rock and move as the kids moved across them, what we're going to end up doing ultimately in CG is break those all into pieces and send them down the river.
And cut it. Check the gate.
Choices are we do the big screen pan around, or we do the shot going into the snow.
Good start. You came down that way. What you want to do is you want to come this way and drive it that way. We're just shooting one of the final shots of this ice sequence. This is basically where I take the sword and I plummet it into the ice.
Without the sword. All right, here we go. One practice without. Is your hand the right way?
Rehearsal. Ready and action. Where do you think you're hitting? Point to it.
In the perfect
Let's practice with the sword. Okay.
Take 59.
And action. There you go. Ah, very nice.
That went in like butter.
Take a picture. Take a picture.
And not only did we have to take the waterfall set that was built in New Zealand and match that in a miniature environment, but we also had to create a larger scale miniature that would withstand the actual look when it broke apart and fell into pieces. Because when you're dealing with things such as ice or explosions or water, you have to keep things relatively large scale or else they fall apart and they don't look very believable. So we built it as big as we could.
Hi, I'm Tim Angula. I'm visual effects miniature photography, and today we're collapsing the ice waterfall. The way that the model makers have constructed this particular miniature, all these chunks of ice have been held in place with these pins, and they release them, and it all sort of collapses together in junction with the water coming over the top of the fall.
What we're doing here is we have 4 cameras all shooting simultaneously, and so we'll do this once, and then there's a whole model crew here that has to basically take a jigsaw puzzle and put it back together. Then the dressing has to go back over it. You have to put a little wax over it, and then we have to put the snow. That all has to be redone, and it takes hours and hours to reset it, which is why we hope to get basically 1 shot a day.
It's always difficult when you do these kind of events because you make your best plan, you put it all forward, you do your test, but once the miniature's totally dressed, you just keep your fingers crossed that it all works the way it was planned and designed.
And then in the Czech Republic, in Prague, we built a huge tank, a huge water tank.
This is after the waterfall's broken and we're floating downstream.
Okay, I think this is going to be the last one.
We've shot a lot of stuff for the kids in the tank with water rushing them along, and we can use this for that. We'll add in different sections and different landscapes, so you get the sense that they're actually traveling.
We're going to keep shooting actually all year, just so we can still see each other in the tank.
Okay, here we go. Once more into the plunge.
And I think tomorrow and the day after we're going to do the actual waterfall stuff. So yeah, it'll be fun.
We had to put the kids in a lot of water and dump a lot of water right on top of them.
All this water behind us is meant to come down this chute, and as the kids are laying down on the iceberg that's right there, what we want to do is let the water engulf them and get as much real water interaction onto the kids as we possibly can. And we've got to move now because the crane's coming.
So same as yesterday. Ready, and 3, 2, 1, go. On go, there's 2 guys that pull a door.
Does that make the climb?
Yes. The water doesn't hit you, the water hits the water, creating this big wave behind you.
Will it crash over us?
It's going to go over you. I know the adrenaline is going to be rushing, but try not to jump into the water, okay? If you're just stay on the ice and let them come get you.
You know what? The adrenaline will be pumping so
It'll be great.
quickly
It'll be
that
great.
will hang on.
Okay, unlock it. Ready, and 3, 2, 1, go!
That's a ride in Disneyland. It's so fun.
3, 2, 1.
Oh my goodness. It looks fantastic.
It's just like a wall of water.
I was so glad when Casey said go and we could not look around, so I just didn't want to see the water.
I'm like, oh my god.
It's always good to shoot, but ultimately you got to put the cameras away, and because now we have to do all that stuff: put in the water, put in the wolves, put in the falling debris, make it all, look real.
So the basic steps involved in creating these shots are we get the original film negative and we scan that into the computer. The next step would be match moving, and that's where we actually have to recreate a camera within the computer that matches the camera that was actually on set, so that when you create a computer-generated character, when it's walking, that it looks like its feet are actually on the ground. And we do the same thing with the water. We do a simulation of the water. Then all the different layers are rendered as separate elements that we then put together in the final stage, which is compositing. The compositor will then output the final composite, and then we'll shoot it to film.
This scene itself, this little moment in the movie, was photographed in places all over the world. We shot live action in New Zealand. We shot water plates in Poland. We shot the backgrounds in other regions of Poland. Of course, we shot the tank stuff in Prague. And then also here now, finally in LA. And we're shooting it inside and outside. So it's a half a dozen at least. We span the world for one sequence of this film. We'll go to the ends of the earth for this film, and we have.